So I'm continuing my series on my last 2 years of sugar and how I was on this lifestyle and the transitions I made, the mistakes I made. So this is month 6 to month 12. This is January of 2024 till about June 2024 I'll speak about. So I was with my family at Christmas time, staying with my parents, and then middle of February I decided to drive down to Florida, and I wanted to take Sensei up on an invitation to come study karate and Aikido. So drove down I-75, took about 2.5 days to get there, but it was well worth it. I brought with me, not too much again, I brought lots of sugar in my car. The border officer thought I was a little bit crazy, but he didn't mind and he let me go. I brought kilos and kilos and kilos, like, you know those Rubbermaid packing? Like, it was just full of sugar packages from Costco, like 4 kilos. Anyway, so I brought sugar with me, Welch's fruit snacks, Cheerios, just the essentials, because I didn't plan on cooking too much there, and of course they have tons of grocery stores in Florida, so I didn't think it would be a big deal. Eventually got down there and decided to stay on the Tamiami Trail, which is like low budget motels. Maybe you could call it like a rough part of the neighborhood. So went there, and just to show sort of energy and how things work and what your presence is like around other people. So if you aim to blend in, you'll blend in. If you want to act like you're somebody different, or you're got your nose up in the air and you've got this panic in your body, people will target you. So you have to act accordingly. You have to act like you're in the right place at the right time all the time. Or you could be targeted, you could be pointed at, and it's like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. So let's just say the place was a little bit rough, okay? I don't think a lot of people would go honeymoon at this hotel, okay? Or motel, rather. And not even there for like 24 hours, and the police show up. There was 5 cruisers that showed up to this hotel, and I am just minding my own business, sitting outside, kind of watching what's going on. I just had a burrito for dinner, which I made from just like Walmart, grabbed some pitas, spinach, corn, salsa, don't really remember, but just a few veggies and whatnot. So just finished a burrito, just hanging out, and these cops come up to me and they ask for my passport and they ask for these things, and I'm like, I just got here, like, what's going on, Question after question. What's your relationship like with your mother? And I'm looking at him going like, this is none of your business. Why are you asking me about my mother? Like, I don't understand what's going on. Is your name Lola? And my name's not Lola. And are you sure it's just not a nickname that you use sometimes? And I'm just like in my pajamas, looking like I look, nothing fancy, and just really digging into asking these personal questions about my life. And I'm going like, I don't even bother telling him that I'm just driving down from Canada, because it's like, I don't really feel like I have to explain myself. Eventually, one of the officers asks me how old I am. And at that time, I was 33. And that's what I said. And they all looked at each other and thought, oh, this isn't the girl. The girl we're looking for is 16 years old. And I'm like, wow. So being in deterioration, making a video about me saying, I didn't even listen to it, but somebody linked the video here. I would love to see her keep up with me at the gym. I would love to see her play barefoot football on the beach with the guys and keep up, because I don't think she can. And people are mistaking me for being a lot younger than I am, even though I have the gray hair. It just goes to show, like, misery loves company, There are so many people out there that are going to want to take you off of this path. They're just, stay with us. Just come to the pub and have a few drinks. Like, just come have the fried food. It's okay. There's a lot of people that are stuck in their own ways, and there's nothing wrong with this. They just haven't really invested in themselves, and they're looking outside for things to help change their life instead of taking responsibility and making themselves a priority and putting their health and well-being first. Because the number one indicator of longevity and health is your VO2 max. It's how well you can breathe, how well you can oxidize your cells, how well your blood moves through your body. These are the things that people see. This is the vitality that people see. This is the glow that people see when you walk around, is how well you can breathe. In the end, if you're not breathing, then you're not living. So whatever, long story short, everything worked out. The officers apologized, and it was just a really interesting interaction to be mistaken for a 16-year-old girl, which they found, and she was 2 doors down, and it was a kind of a strange situation, but it all worked out. In any case, I stayed for 2 months until the middle of April, and practicing martial arts 4 times a week, and being very diligent with that, and really enjoying the company that I made, and the people that were around me. And they were all so fascinated by how I could just come here and focus on studying martial arts, how I could just leave everything behind and start a new life. How could I do that when they weren't doing that? And they had invested into so many other things that they felt locked into, that they couldn't change and they couldn't leave. So it's just something of this like trap of the mind. And I really do believe that the diet, what you eat, it is what you are. People eat every day. Everyone's always looking for something to eat. So whether or not you're having protein and you want to be satiated and you want to starve yourself all day, that's on you. Like, that's fine. That's just not the life I wanted to live anymore. So people were very interested in me, very interested in my story, and very interested on what I was going to do next. So yeah, stayed about 2 months there. It was a really good experience, and very glad that I got to be in Florida at that time. Florida is also no joke. It can get very hot very fast, and you must be hydrated. Everybody there is drinking juice. Everybody there is having their liquids, because if you don't, you're in big trouble. Imagine living without air conditioning in Florida. What would that be like? How well would you do out there? I don't think most people could handle it, especially very, light-skinned. It would be very, very hard to deal with the elements. So again, when you're out there, you got to make sure you're hydrated. You got to make sure you got enough rest. You got to make sure you're carved up to handle what's going on, see what's going on with the people around you, so that you can blend in and not cause any trouble. You have to have your wits about you. And of course, you just, you have fun with it. You smile at people, you make a joke. There's no need to be pushing against everybody in the whole world. It's just, how do you get through your day? How do you make things as smooth as possible? In my opinion, it's with enough rest, enough water, and enough carbs. So what I was eating there that I regret eating too much of was cereals like Captain Crunch, which I love Captain Crunch. I grew up with a lot of cereal, so it was way too fatty though. And then you could really taste and feel the oil like on the bowls and stuff. So that's something that I continued to have a little bit too much of. But again, I was kind of just living out of cans. I had cans of corn, making these burritos, and just boom, eating. We would go out for dinner all together, the martial arts people, and it would always be that I just refused to eat the food, and I would bring candy with me. And everybody at the table, I would offer Sour Patch Kids. Everybody would take it. They would say no, and then they would go, okay, I'll have some. Why do they tell kids not to have any sweets before dinner? Because then you won't want to eat this heavy meat-centered meal. If you're having the sugar, you won't be hungry and you'll feel good. That's why the kids gravitate towards pasta. That's why the kids gravitate towards cereal. That's why the kids gravitate towards candy and fruit. If I put fruit and steak in front of my nieces and nephews, they eat the fruit. They don't care about that. They don't want that. They want the mashed potatoes, they want the pasta, and they want the fruit, and they want the candy. Of course, they want chocolate and everything too, but that's just because it's been given to them by others, and so they've been opened up to this whole world. But honest to God, they'll smash fruit like it's nobody's business. So that's what the kids really want. That's the eating like a child. That's the intuitive eating. Again, I stalled myself because I was eating high fatty foods. I would still have a feta once in a while. And again, I was having like low fat milk at this time still. So this is still transitioning in from vegetarian, but I do think I could have been better at this. So you can learn from my mistakes. You don't have to take as long as I did. And at some point I got sick of eating this way, but I still kept eating that. I still kept eating the Captain Crunch, even though I knew I shouldn't have. So don't get lost in your own mental hoops, you know, like you can drop things as your body tells you to, instead of fighting them and, okay, I'll just eat it. If your body is telling you like, all right, have a smoothie today, then have a smoothie. You know, if your body is telling you, you know what, I need something heavier, I need some potatoes, I need some starch, then do that. Your body's very smart. So I guess I sort of ignored the real signals and just kind of went for the devil on my shoulder, which was like, it's okay, just keep having the dairy, you know, it's no big deal. So left Florida, went back to Canada, visited my family a little bit more. And again, it's always like this, you're just gonna have rice, you know, like, meanwhile, my mom has like knee problems and it's like they're not getting any skinnier, and there's a lot of meat going on there, and she has olive oil with an egg every morning, and like I keep telling her the same things and she goes, wow, you look so beautiful, you look so great, blah blah blah, but then it just doesn't connect. She doesn't believe that she can change. She doesn't believe that she can do it for herself. So I just have to keep being the example that of health that I want to see in the world. So if I can just keep showing people, keep eating the way I'm eating and then living the way I'm living, maybe they'll clue in, you know? Maybe they'll give up the coffee. Maybe they'll give up the alcohol. Maybe they'll give up the meat. If I did it, anybody can do it, you know? Like it sounds cliche or whatever, but I really thought I was just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. I remember watching a hockey game and the bread and circus, you know? I was just like, am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? Am I just going to just keep doing the same thing over and over again and just pretending that it feels normal to me? Like, I can't do it anymore. So that's when I broke, you know, and that's when everything changed for me. And that's when I finally found the sugar, and my life unfolded as it did. It's like there were issues that I had to clean up around me. Not everything was beautiful and pretty, you know. It wasn't always I wasn't always in the place I am right now. I wasn't always feeling as confident as I am right now. There were days that I doubted these things, but that's because I wasn't taking care of myself properly, and I wasn't really committing fully to this. So, and then I came back to Europe, and then it became to be much more stricter. So I remembered the grocery store, I remembered the juices. So this video is getting a little bit long. I'm gonna cut it short there, and I'll continue in another 2 more parts. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead. I'm getting to them. Thank you so much for being here.